Marina Ock, I can't see you. Where are you?
Yes.
Thank you. Good. So we have 3 more medicine Buddhas to go. And I think meanwhile, you figured out how the pledges of the medicine Buddhas go. For me, they go in 2 broad categories. One is really remove the suffering. May it be physical, may it be mental, may it be the problems we have with other people's. And then the other category is help to remove the obstacles we have in our spiritual practice and get us on the highway to enlightenment. Because that's what we want. We want to get there very quickly and speedy. And they help us to do that. So I don't want to go very deeply in the rest of the prayers they made. I would highly encourage you, read and contemplate them for yourself in the next weeks. Read one, close your eyes, contemplate on them. Open your eyes again, read the next one. And again, figure out which speaks to your heart. So the 4 prayers of the medicine Buddha called Ocean Song, to stop wrong views. Yes, please, let me understand the pen. To stop all failure to sing the Dharma. My personal one. Let's put in every rock and roll song Dharma and inspire them to practice, to remove their suffering. The 3rd prayer, to stop the cycle of want. Venerable Gyelse will elaborate that one a little bit more in our FAQ session today. And I think one which is very dear to all of our heart at the moment, to stop fighting. May it be fighting with the people around us, or may it be the war or the wars in our world at the moment. The next medicine Buddha, Sea Dancer. Very beautiful name. Have you picked the name for yourself as Buddha in the meditation? I think Sea Dancer is a nice one. His pledges are: stop harmful ways of life. Oh, there is so plenty around us where we think we get happy when we do or eat or whatever it is, and then it hurts us. To stop the 10 bad deeds. If you don't know what the 10 deeds are, let us know. Oh, Lady of Beauty and Shine, yes. Somebody shares the name, I love it. Let's inspire each other. If you don't know what the 10 bad deeds are, let us know, then we will go a little bit into that in one of our FAQ sessions, yes. Okay, we put it on the list, we go a little bit into it later on. The next one of Sea Dancer is stop unjust punishment. I think we all know that when we have the feeling we don't deserve that. And his fourth prayer is to stop the lower rounds. That means that we are not reborn in the lower rounds, like in the hells or as animals. Because that means also if we are reborn as a human, we can continue practice. We can continue to plant the seeds which compel us into our Buddha paradise. So this is one which comes primarily to practice. And then the last one, the Medicine Buddha, he made 12 prayers. To have a perfect physical form, that there be light in the universe, that everybody practice the higher path, that everybody keeps a pure ethical code, everybody who is ill, equality in the universe, that there might be kind ideas spreading throughout the universe, everybody free of punishment, everybody finds sufficient and delicious food. And that no living being is exposed to the elements. When I read them the first time, I thought, oh, it's over and over and over again. They are repeating each other. And at one point, I really got bored. Oh, we had that already 3 times. But I really encourage you, read them in the sutra, because each one has a slightly different twist on it. What it is and how it looks like when it is removed. And then the paradise of Medicine Buddha is described. So also contemplate on that one. Maybe you can steal a few ideas for your own paradise, how you imagine your own one. And then comes a very, very beautiful section with the title how medicine Buddha helps those reborn as hungry ghosts or animals because they refused to share what they had. So the next part is how medicine Buddha helps those beings in suffering. And I would like to read to you the first one. For the translator, it starts with verse 320, 320. Because now we are going to the core. How does he really help us? So the Buddha, we know the scene. The Buddha sits with all these incredible beings under the singing tree. And Buddha says now to gentle voice, "Oh, gentle voice, there are those who are normal people and who have no understanding of good deeds and bad deeds. They are overcome by their attachment and have no knowledge of the fruits that ripen from the act of sharing with others." What is he saying here? Buddha says, oh, there are people out there who don't know that when they hurt other people, that they will have in the future somebody hurting them. Or when they help somebody, that it will come back to them as a good experience. Next verse. These people are truly foolish infants. They are bereft of the power of faith. They put all their efforts into accumulating wealth and then defending what they have accumulated. It never even occurs to them that they should share this prosperity by giving some to others. And my mind says, yes, 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 he is describing me. So let's go on. What he recommends. 322. When the opportunity arrives for them to indeed share what they have with others, they shy away from it, as if you had asked them to take a knife and slice off a piece of their own body. And yes, I can relate to that. If I'm tired, if I'm hungry, if I'm thirsty, and somebody asks me to help them, it feels exactly like that. No, no. 323. And if people like this happen to be living in circumstances where they don't have a lot to partake of themselves, then what need mention the idea that they would take that and share it with their parents or with their spouse or with their daughters and sons? Next one. What need speak of their sharing with men and women who serve them at home or those who work for them in business? And what need mention, how they would threat others who approach them for help. And we know this feeling as well. Oh, I don't have a lot of money. Why is everybody asking me to donate? Oh, I'm so busy. How can I help others? I don't have time to do that. And he is addressing here really how our mind works, how we look out for ourselves, how this protecting ourselves leads to the wrong actions, not sharing, not helping, not even our dearest family and friends. And don't feel guilty about it. All of us do it. That's so engraved in our human nature. That's why we need the courage to make that pledge, that we work on these habits. And as said, it will go slowly. You help one person, you help a second person, you help a third person. And that's how you change this attitude in yourself slowly. And then he goes on describing that because when we only look out for ourselves, then we are reborn as animal or in the hells because we have committed many bad deeds and not a lot of good deeds. And that even if we have such a rebirth, medicine Buddha will help us. They will whisper their name into our ears. What was this beautiful name I read? The Lady of Beauty and Shine will whisper her name into our ears. And this will then propel us in the next human life. And then we remember suddenly and grasp the concept of karma and emptiness. And then we will change our life. And so you all being here shows the good karma you have, the compassion you have in your heart, and willing to practice and getting better and better at it, and then reaching this incredible paradise. So yeah, we started, we are on the marathon. My script is falling down all the time, sorry. And then gentle voice, the one who is asking Buddha the questions, also is so moved by the description how medicine Buddha helps. Even he promises, oh yes, I join the medicine Buddha helping army. And I will whisper into everybody's ear the name of the medicine Buddha so that they remember it and they start practicing. And you see, we are approaching the end. In the next part, Buddha is asking, Can we believe all that, what I have told you? That whispering Medicine Buddha's name into one's ear will help them? And Ananda is very, very direct in his answer. He says, because you have told us, I believe in it. And because these people have the karma to hear the name of Medicine Buddha, they also have accumulated a part of good karma, which makes them then understanding karma and emptiness, and so go on the path. So he also says first, you know, I have never heard you saying anything which is not true, because you are the Buddha. That's my experience. That's why I believe you. And the second fact he is putting forth is, if somebody has the karma to hear the name of the Medicine Buddha, that shows also that he has the karma to understand, to have a better rebirth as a human, where they can practice and start understanding, studying, and change their behavior. So there he is more or less handling all of the objections we have in our mind. Can whispering the name in our ear help us? Can it change our life? Can it help us to start practicing? Can it help us to compel us ourselves into the Buddha paradise we imagined? Yes, 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 because it is coming from us. And we will have a very, very deep class about that after the empowerment. I'm looking forward to it. It is taught by Venerable Gyelse, and she explains it very, very beautiful. I'm really looking forward to hear it again. And then the next section is has the title, How to Practice the Medicine Buddha. And there Buddha mentions a lot of practices which we can do together, good karma, by offering our reference to Medicine Buddha. So he mentions offerings to the community. Think 3 times per night and 3 times per day about the Medicine Buddha. Reciting the sutra during a retreat 49 times. Having images of the Medicine Buddha. And all of that you can watch on 2 levels, like you put 7 images of the Medicine Buddhas on your altar. Does that act on its own create good karma? Only if you do it with the thought in your mind that these are your role models, that you learn from them how to be compassionate. And this goes with the same with thinking 6 times per day of Medicine Buddha. It's remembering that he made it. He become an enlightened being. So take the role model. Offer your respect. Admire him for doing it and teaching us how to do it ourselves. And then we are approaching the grande finale. All the yakshas arrive. So the audience is getting bigger and bigger. The yakshas are spirit kings. So they are not exactly known that they are practicing the Dharma. They are more from the other side. But they are so impressed by the story of the Medicine Buddhas that even they pledge with all their spirits, armies they have, to serve Medicine Buddha, to acknowledge that he is the king, and that they help every living being in suffering by reminding them of Medicine Buddha to get enlightened themselves. And I want to read their pledge to you. It's verse 460. O conqueror, due to the mystic power of the enlightened ones, all of us have been able to hear the holy name of the conqueror, the one Gandas, Medicine Buddha, King of Lapis Light. And because of that, we no longer have any fear that we could ever pass to the lower realms. So Medicine Buddha has taken away their fear. He has taught them how to not be born again there in the spirit realm, in the animal realm. And due to that, they make an incredible act. They go for refuge. The next verse. As such, we make this pledge as a group, and for as long as we shall live, we take refuge in the Buddha, we take refuge in the Dharma, and we take refuge in the community. And this is more or less the start of every Buddhist career. Take refuge. I believe that the concept of karma and emptiness is true. I believe that by using this concept, many, many beings have already reached enlightenment. And I believe that I can do it myself. So this is are the modern words for taking refuge, and it's the basis. And all these yakshas, all these kings of the spirits, and all the spirits do it at that moment. And then they promise they will whisper in everybody's ear the Medicine Buddha name so that they can have the benefits of it. It's very, very beautiful. And then the grande finale, the Medicine Buddhas will arrive. And this is the cliffhanger. We go to that in tomorrow's class. As said, I encourage you, please read it, contemplate it, take your time. Spend more time on the verses which speak to your heart. And you will discover that every time when you read it, you will discover another aspect, more, another layer. It will never be boring, even if you read it the 100, the 200, the 500 times. I promise you. You will discover more and more because you are creating more and more karma, which creates the karma for more and deeper understanding. Please contemplate, be inspired. Now we go to the question and answers. I think you already picked one, Venerable Gyelse.
So thank you, Venerable Sunam, for sharing all of these wonderful wishes and pledges and inspiring us for what pledges we can make and the Buddha paradises we can create, who's there, what they look like. And it's been very rich. So thank you so much for sharing all of that with us. And also inspiring us to, by knowing how it works, right? Which we'll go into more deeply, as Venerable Sunam said. Marina, will you keep Sunam pinned as well, please? Because we're going to take turns with the questions. Thank you. So we've asked you to please, write your questions in the chat, and we've tried to put them together into a document. So if you haven't done that and you still have questions, please do that. Put them in the chat so we can see them and see what you're thinking, and we'll try to answer them. So the first question in this list that we have put together is wanting something and needing something the same thing. I'm going to ask you guys what you think first. So if you think they're the same thing, would you put a number 1 in the chat, please? I don't see any number 1, so I guess that nobody thinks they're the same thing. So what is the difference between wanting something and needing something? Needing is more like the things that are necessary to sustain us. On a physical level, their health, food, sleep, yoga, or some kind of physical movement. Even studying, intellectual movement. These are the things that sustain us. And on an emotional level, we're sustained by our relationships, our friendships, our love, our care for each other, our connections are what sustain us on a non-physical level. Our spiritual practice, our meditation. So we have these physical needs, we have emotional needs, we have intellectual needs, we have spiritual needs. And those are as I said, they're like the foundation from which we can grow and from which we can develop. Wanting, on the other hand, goes a little bit beyond that, or sometimes really far beyond that. Wanting, generally speaking, is about me. I want. I used to have a magnet on my refrigerator that a friend gave me that said, I want, I want, I want, now, 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 me, me, me. So I'm just saying, generally, when we say we want something, usually it's about ourselves, but it doesn't have to be that way. Is it healthy to want to become enlightened? Is it healthy to want to end all suffering? Is it healthy and desirable to want to take away the pain of others? Of course it is.
Mm.
And on one level, we can transform those wants into something that we need. Like, I want to become enlightened, and I need to become enlightened so that I can end the suffering in the world. But that's not generally how we think of want and need. And we get them, as somebody said in the chat, very confused. What do I want and what do I need? And I think this is something that each of us has to really look into our own hearts to find out what that is. Like, do I need a place to live? Yeah. Does it have to be a huge palace? Maybe it does. Maybe you're going to invite everybody you can possibly think of to live there with you. But maybe if it's just you or you and one other person, having a smaller place is all you need. Food is a big one. Eating more than your body needs because you want it, you desire it, because it tastes so good in the moment. But is it something that you need? And this, again, I'm going to say is a personal question that you have to really ask your own self. Am I just wanting that because I want to keep my mouth busy, or because it tastes so good, or whatever it happens to be? Or do I need that to sustain me? And that's why we mentioned early on that there is a practice of the one-day vows. And they're really about simplicity and just being content with what you need and not what you want. So, are they the same thing? No, they're not the same thing. Do they share a connection? They do. And they could be the same thing. So it is kind of a gray area. And again, I invite all of you to look into your own hearts when you reach for something like, do I need this glass of water right now? No, I don't. Do I want it? Maybe I do.
Thank you. I would pick as next question, is a Buddha male or female? And yes, how the Buddhas are put forth to us, there is some kind of implication that they are male or female. Like Tara, I think everybody has the female picture in their mind. Metsin Buddhas, maybe everybody has a male picture in their mind. But how it is explained in itself, a Buddha is neither male nor female, or you can say they are both, because it is part of the process to get enlightened that you integrate both energies in the same amount. And maybe if you look at people around you which have progressed on the spiritual path way shortly before they get to their paradise, you will see that in their face, in their behavior, that they have both parts in them. If they are male, they are developing their female side. If they are female, they are developing their male side, and they are integrating them and combining them. So if you look at the traditional tankas and only look at the face without all the other decorations and accoutrements and symbols, you won't be able to say if that is a female or a male, because they are both. How do we then describe them or have this picture of male and female? This depends on the gender they had as humans and they got enlightened. So if your last human body is female, then you will be recognized as some kind of female Buddha. And if you are male, then you are somehow recognized as a male Buddha. So as said, they don't have a gender or they have both, depending on how you look at it. And that is very beautiful, and also gives us food of thought to think, how can we ourselves integrate both energies in ourselves? Because that's the way.
And I also add,
please,
your pledges could be born as an enlightened Buddha in whatever body you want, whichever body you would think will help other beings, whether it's male or female.
Mm-hmm.
And being male or female doesn't mean you have any greater or lesser chance of becoming enlightened. We all have everything that we need to become enlightened beings.
Mm.
It's just that we've grown up in patriarchal societies. Okay. Do you want to add anything else, Sunam?
No.
Thank you. So we have these stories of the medicine Buddhas, of Tara, And Lord Buddha, from 2,500 years ago at the most, right? And here we are still having wars. Here we are still having hunger. Here we are still having sickness, floods, earthquakes, volcanoes, all sorts of harm in the world on so many different levels. And if these enlightened beings made all these pledges, how come we're still in this pickle? How come we're still in this situation? They made these pledges to help us. How come? I'm still getting sick and seeing my friends get sick. I'm seeing people having to leave their countries if they're lucky. Yeah. We're seeing all of this. Can someone take away your wrong view? Because that's what's forcing us to see what we're seeing, is our misperception. And they can't. There's stories in the Lord Buddha's time of war, and an army came to where he was living, in the small city where he was living. And people tried to hide behind his robes so as not to get hurt, and he couldn't protect them. He couldn't take away that, just physically. But what they can do, and what they do, is they whisper in our ears and remind us of our wrong view and of what the right view is. They remind us to be kinder to each other, to be more generous with each other. They show up as friends and teachers to show us the path. And that's how they help us. Unfortunately, they're omniscient, but they can't take away our pain and suffering because it's coming from our seeds. And so that's what we have to work on. And we help each other, and they remind us.
Good. Thank you. I think we are running out of time. I would like to answer one last question, because I think it's important for you that you can contemplate the sutra. Where do you find the sutra in the portal? Let me share my screen and I show it to you. Let me know when you can see it. Good. So when you open your course on the portal, you have the Zoom link and the Telegram chat. And then down below, you find day 1 and day 2. Thank you, Francisco and team, for uploading all the recordings. And when you click on day 2, you see the 2 classes we gave last week. And underneath there is the link to the PDF, to the prayers. So if you click on it, then the prayers will open. And maybe you have jotted down, Sunam has today recited verse 320, and then you can read verse 320 and contemplate on it. And I'm not sure, Francisco, you have uploaded them for all questions, because there was one specific question if the Ukrainian is available. But as far as I know, we have it translated in Ukrainian and it should be there. So please, if it is missing, let us know on the portal, the support, and then we can upload it.
I'm also seeing in the chat that there's no Spanish uploaded.
The PDF?
Yeah.
Good. Please support Team Czech, Spanish, and Ukrainian. Thank you so much. Marina, are you tracking that down, please? Thank you.
So we'll see everybody tomorrow. Or are there any other messages? Any other, Sunam, there was a question that I think might, if we have a moment to address, which is someone wants to come to the retreat at Diamond Mountain, and they're asking, when should they sign up?
I would recommend sign up as soon as possible. We are already sold out of a few housing categories. If you want to save your spot, if you want to come, I'm happy that you are coming, but make sure you save your spot as soon as possible. And if you have questions, let me know.
Thank you.
So
thank you, Sunam, for all of the teachings today.
You are up tomorrow.
Taking us through the medicine Buddhists. We've gone through all of them. And please, jump into them and hang out with them so they become good friends, right? To help you. And what were you going to say before I started saying that?
So I hope you have the time, maybe contemplate a few of the verses which you really feel attracted to. Or if it's really hard for you to imagine that you are sitting in your Buddha paradise, maybe do a short recap of that meditation, sitting in your Buddha paradise, and paint it to your ideal.
And so before we close, let's take a moment to fill up our spiritual bank account, to add some new seeds to it, and dedicate all of the goodness that we've done thinking about who we want to be and how we're going to take suffering out of this world so the word doesn't even exist anymore, and how the medicine Buddhas are going to help us. So take a moment to think about your pledge again and send that out, that wish, out to every being in every universe, and see them removed of whatever particular suffering or flavor that your pledge has taken. See them relieved of that suffering, of that pain, that worry, whatever it was. And how light and happy they are. And remind yourself that yes, I am doing this. This is the purpose of my life. And not only that, I can do it. And I will do it. and I am doing it. So thank you, everybody, for doing it. Having these wishes and pledges. And we'll see you same place, same time tomorrow. Yeah. Thank you, Sunam. Thank you, tech team. Thank you, translators. Thank you, everybody, for believing in this stuff and bringing light into the world. Until tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Thank you.